Hey guys, it's me Dragon, and today's video is about preparation guide for Chiori, and we will talk about the usual what the potential build that you can try, the team, the material that she need, and assessing about the kit, is it good or bad. And I think when I see the poll, a lot of people actually keeping Chiori, and even more people want to pull for Novelat. So in here, we kind of want to try to figure out, is it actually really that bad, boring, or actually not bad? So let's find out in here. As usual, we read the first sentence, so we kind of know what actually Hoyo first want to do with this character. So basically, they say in here, Chiori is a damage dealer who can flexibly choose offensive tactics based on the party composition. So basically, in here, Hoyo first want to make Chiori as a flexible character that deal damage that mostly about offensive that can put in different of the party comps. So assuming in here that they want to make Chiori like both main DPS and sub DPS and can become like flexible in assuming she is Geo, then probably any Geo team, so something like that. And brief just about the materials, this is for Ascension, the Geostone, Dendrobium from Inazuma. Wow, Spectre, I don't know if anyone like it. This one, the Coppelia from the Fontaine boss. And then for the Talon of Patrol, this is from Inazuma, okay, same with Raiden Shogun. So it's not from Fontaine, so just reminder, this is Spectre again, and this is from the Narwhal. And here all the calculation thanks to Devil Takoyaki, so this is all the material that you need. Now we move to our main course, which is the talents and the kit in here. So first start with the normal charge attack. Basically, there's nothing special that they indicate in here. It's just like, again, another waste animation. It's so cool, same like Furina, but end up you maybe will not use it though. And now let's move into the elemental skill, which is one of her main gimmick, which is called Fluttering Hasore or Hashot. Basically, the animation similar like Kaching or Alahitem, where they will teleport forward and they will dash using the sword. So it's very similar. So in here, after they dash, Chiori also will summon the automaton doll called Tamato. In here, see, after you do the dash, you will summon the Tamato. She's at Tamato beside her. And also, this will deal AoE Geo damage also to the nearby opponent that based on attack and defense. So this skill is basically the scaling is attack and defense. So we kind of already know that Chiori scaling is attack and defense. Double scaling seems like Yai. Also additional info, you can enter aiming mode by holding, so same like catching wild items. And also they give description about this Tamato. Tamato is this doll. So this doll is called Tamato. So Tamato is build dealing AoE Geo damage based on interval that based on Chiori attack and defense. Yeah, they already said also in here. So the scaling of Chiori attack and defense. And this is pretty much the same like coordinate attack. Just treat like same like Grand Sword from Shincho or Yelan, the IC itself, but this one represented by the doll itself. So they say in here, if you have Geo Construct, then you will have additional Tamato that will be summoned. So you will get 2 dolls if you use Geo Construct. So if you have Geo Construct, it will become 2 dolls. You can already see here, this is only 1, but there's Geo Construct, it's become 2 in here. So that's pretty interesting. So if you want to maximize, make sure in your party of Geo team should have Geo Construct. And this is just only another additional info about related to her talent. Actually, I already explained, but I just explain again what this has been like in very short. So basically, when you use your elemental skill, it has 2 different effects, Tapestry and Tailoring. So Tapestry is basically if you want to use your Chiori as a sub DPS, because in here, after you use your elemental skill and you switch to your next roster, when you do any normal charge attack or even planning, your Tamato will deal like coordinate attack that deal Geo damage. However, the second one is Tailoring. This one, if you want to use your Chiori as a main DPS, meaning that if you use elemental skill and then you do normal attack or whatever on your Chiori, she will get like Geo Infusion. You can see in here. And her elemental burst is Hyoku Twin Blades. It's basically just very simple, just dealing AoE Geo damage and that's pretty much that's it. That based on Chiori attack and defense. So that's everything about Chiori kits and talents. Overall, it's pretty simple, and if I have to say, even in very short, she's similar like Shincho and Yelan, where the main job is just to dealing like coordinate attack. So but instead of Hydro, of course, Chiori will deal Geo damage. And yeah, pretty much this is mostly we can utilize as a sub DPS. But of course in here, if you want to maximize, make sure to have Geo Construct so you can have 2 dolls in here. And other than optional, if you want, you can use her as a main DPS because she has like also the Geo Infusion. So yeah, all in all, Chiori is pretty flexible as a character in the Geo team itself because can become like 2 style. And then I say again, if you ask me, is she actually good or bad? And I say really very hard to judge it just by seeing this one. So you have to see data mine. So if you don't want to hear any spoiler, just skip this part. But all in all, seeing her number, she's pretty alright. She's not bad at all. She's not like Dia level that people talking about. She's pretty much fine. In fact, I say like in terms of offensive, she's a little bit better than Albedo. And with Geo Construct, it's much better than Albedo, because in here you will make your team overall more like offensive, so deal more DPS. So if you find to trade off your defensive to become more DPS, then Chiori actually will be better than Albedo, will become upgrade itself. Even in Navia itself, with only one doll didn't utilize Geo Construct, it's still slightly better than Albedo, because it just makes your Navia teams overall more offensive. Especially if you don't have Albedo in here, then Chiori can be a good replacement and even better in offensive style. So you should not discourage too if you heard like it will not really great with Navia, because with Navia itself, it's still pretty good, because right now we don't have a good partner for Geo in Navia. Basically only Albedo and Zhongli. And Zhongli is mostly defensive system. There's no offensive in here. However, I forgot to mention a little bit in here the one that get one of the biggest upgrade, which is Aratakito, because Aratakito mostly play in mono Geo team and involve constructs. So that's why in here Aratakito that gain more benefit, of course, more than Navia itself. So in here, basically if you want to use her in any Geo purpose, she's just not bad. It's just like, again, usually Geo is not really popular. Like, people usually prefer anything like deal element, and Geo usually people not really like it. I can even say like quite confident, rarely you can find people will use like Noel main or like Ningguang main. So that's why, yeah, I understand if she not really get much attention too. So yeah, because of that, she all in all really not bad. It's just like she is Geo, so probably that people not really interested. Because other than Geo, she cannot be really utilized. And now let's move into build section, and let's start with the weapon. For the 5-star weapon, the best one is of course Uraku Misugiri. This is the signature weapon of Chiori, so don't need to ask why, because everything will match with her kits. Other than that, Light of Foliar, this is signature weapon of Al-Hikam, and it's pretty much still good if you critical damage, and also a little bit of crit rate, buff your normal attack and elemental damage, still pretty much good for Chiori itself, although elemental mastery a little bit waste. And other than that, all the crit weapons still pretty much good for the 5-star, like Mid Splitter still pretty good because give you critical damage, Harange Paku still pretty good because give you critical rate, and also Furina signature the Splendor still pretty good because give you critical damage. Other than the last one, the classic Primordial Jet Kaider, always never been wrong because it gives you critical rate. It's always good for characters that want to deal damage and give you additional attack that Chiori still need, because she is likely have like both defense and attack scaling. And now let's move into the 4-star weapon or below that can use for Chiori. She actually have quite like wide range of the weapon below 4-star you can use. The first one, of course, the best one is actually Harbinger of Dawn, because this is actually similar with 5-star weapon, like stat give you critical damage and also your crit rate will increase, especially when you make it R5 it will be even more. But the annoying part is that your HP have to be 90%, and afterward it kinda useless a little bit for this effect. But if you can maintain that, this weapon actually pretty much very good for Chiori because it can buff her more damage. But other than that, you can use event weapon that I don't know if some people still have it, because this is very old, which is Cinnabar Spindle. But this is still pretty much good because it gives you defense what Chiori still need, and also buff the elemental skill damage, increased by 80% of your damage. Pretty good, especially with Navia, and this is actually the best one if you want to pair with Navia, so this Cinnabar. Other than that, the finale of the deep, this is pure like craft, so you can get for free to play for sure. This that's still pretty much okay because give you attack, Chiori at least still beneficial with attack, also will increase your attack folder whenever you use elemental skill, still pretty much good or fine for free to play. Other than that, if you maybe pay battle pass and have Wolfang and can make it R5 even better, it's still pretty much decent because give you critical rate, pretty good to improve the consistency of crit rate. Giving also your buff your elemental skill and elemental burst pretty good, and that's why this Wolfang can be a fine alternative too. And now let's move into artifact sets. So for Chiori, she has 2 of artifact sets that the best one for her. Depends on what is your purpose, but if you mainly want to use Chiori as a sub DPS or as a off-fielder, the best one is of course same like Furina, which is 4 piece of Golden Troop. Because 2 piece will give you buff your elemental skill, 4 piece even more, and especially if you're off-field even more. So that's why this is very good if you want to use your Chiori as a like sub DPS, because her coordinate attack is basically count as elemental skill. They already even give note, so that's why this one is the best one as a sub DPS. Alternatively, Husk can be another good choice for you to go, because pretty much like 2 piece give you defense and 4 piece will give you a bunch of geo damage and defense. That's still pretty much good for Chiori itself. This build is basically, we can say like balance build, where you want to utilize more your Chiori as an on-fielder, like using the burst and using the geo infusion for normal attack. Then yeah, this is still pretty much a little bit better than Golden Troop. However, if you just want to focus just like off-fielder as a sub DPS, then just go with Golden Tube. This is more like balanced build. But all in all, if you don't have a good solid piece in Golden Tube, this is still also a fine option for you to go even as a sub DPS. And of course, if you still don't have any solid 4-piece, then you can just do any combination of 2-piece of Husk and 2-piece of the Golden Tube. That's still pretty much quite okay. Or you can go like 2-piece of Gladiator with 2-piece like Husk. You can, or a 2-piece with Shimenawa, still pretty much can. Like any combination with the one that have attack, defense, or even improving or elemental skill, that's still pretty much good. And for the artifact mindset, let's start with the sense. The sense, the best one is of course defense, because majority of the Geo or Mono Geo utilize defense, so that's why go with defense is usually all the way to go. But if you say you don't have any defense sense, then you can go for attack sense. Luckily, because Chiori's double scale attack and defense, these ones can become a fine alternative that you can go. But of course, the best one still defense. For the Goblet itself, very straightforward, just go for Geo damage bonus. But if you still don't have any Geo damage bonus yet, then you can go with defense. It's usually a little bit worse, but not that by far, so you can use this as an alternative. And then for the circlet, it very depends. If you need more crit rate, then go for crit rate. If you still need more crit damage, then go for crit damage. For the subset, for the Chiori itself, very straightforward, like idle damage dealer, crit rate, crit damage always priority. Energy charge can be a good additional. Defense percentage can be good additional too, and defense flat will be okay too. And now let's move for the team comp for Chiori. Although I already mentioned before, Chiori is pretty flexible in any Geo team, but in reality, Geo team right now, it's only 2 carry that we can say pretty much quiet, like good in order to do endgame content, which is Navia and Ito, and that's what I want to focus. Which is the first one, Navia team. Navia team is pretty much the same. You just replace Zhongli or Albedo in here with Chiori itself, so you'll be Navia, Chiori, Furina, and Bennett. Your rotation is just pretty much the same. You just overall get more damage because the coordinate attack. Pretty much that's it though. And the other one is Arataki Ito. So the team is also quite the same from the previous Ito team, which you just changed Zhongli or Albedo in here with Chiori too, and it's just the same. Ito, Chiori, Goro, and Bennett. And here sometimes you can just change with another, like maybe if you want Albedo, if you have sure, then you can put that. If you don't want to use Bennett, just pure Geo in here, or you want like Noel, sure, still can. And other than that, there's still a couple of variation that you can do, but the rest of the 3 pretty much the same. It's either Zhongli or Albedo, Goro, Bennett. You can change with Yunjin itself. And then the carry is either you want to use Ningguang or you want to use Noel. It's still pretty much okay, but I think rarely people will use that. Lastly, if you want to make your Chiori as a DPS, sure, you can do that, which is in here will be Chiori. Yunjin you can always replace with GOMC if you want, or you want like Ningguang, sure too. And also in here, Goro, you can change also with Albedo if you want, and lastly is Bennett. And yeah, if you can want to make like double Geo, sure, also can. You can just put Shangling here if you feel like lack of damage. So it's also another good alternative. So that's everything about Chiori Preparation Guide. As usual in the end, I'll share whatever that I know about Chiori. So Chiori, I would say she's very okay. She's far from like being bad. People say like 0.5 series usually bad. Let's say like Dia. It's no, she's very fun, far from Dia at all. Especially if you want to utilize her in Geo team, and that's where of course she shine. But that's the only also her utility. It's in Geo stuff. And Geo, yeah, to be honest, not really get so much highlight. People usually tend to use like another element than Geo, because our Geo carry even right now, it's only Ito and Navia. Like if you talk about Ningguang and Noel, it's very few people will talk about that. And because of that also, like Geo didn't really interact with other element. People don't really like it, so people tend to pull like maybe Kazuha, Yalan, or something character that more versatile. So that's why I understand if people don't really like find Chiori that attractive. And also like her kids quite similar, like Kaching and Alhaitham, so not really that creative that I don't think make people want to pull though. So that's why I quite understand, but don't feel discouraged if you really like her, because she's very fun, very okay. Of course, not like we can say broken or OP, very strong. No, it's just still fine. But yeah, again, it's only in Geo. And lastly, regarding Constellation, I heard some people say like if you want to pair with Navia, you should go for C1 Chiori. If not, C0 Chiori is bad. I really want to talk about Constellation because maybe they can change when released. But assuming they haven't changed, I say again, C1 Chiori, it's not like a must for Navia itself. C0 already enough. Even with this one doll, it's already pretty good with Navia itself. Because at the worst case, it's always like slightly better than Albedo because it offers you more offensive to your Navia team itself. C1 is just make it a lot more offensive, but it's not a must, so that's why even C0 it's already pretty good. So that's everything from me, so I hope the best of luck in your pool for Chiori, and if you like this video, feel free to hit the button and like, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!